This is Saxon Algebra 2, Lesson 9, Example 9.2. The question is, the harvest was cornucopian as it was 100% greater than last year. If the yield was 140,800 bushels, how many bushels were harvested last year? So the first thing I want to do is my picture. And I have my picture of last year harvest. And then I have some increase, and it's 120%, so I'm going to draw it just a little bit bigger than last year. And I know that last year is my 100%, and this is basically the increase. And then all together, this is the harvest for this year. And I'm trying to solve for the harvest for this year. So that's what we're trying to figure out here. So I know that I have a harvest and I'm using percentages, and it's parts to whole. So I'm going to go to my list of formulas and see which one I want to use. And I'm dealing with 100% plus 120%. So clearly I have percentage formulas that I'm using. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one. But again, this one is the same thing. All you're changing is you're dividing both sides by of. So if you chose to use this one, that would be fine too. So, but I'm going to go ahead and use this one. We should find our answers are the same either way. P over 100 times of equals is. So write up my formula. Part is P over 100 times of equals is. And in this formula, I actually have 100% plus 120%. And so I have 220 over 100. So 220% of last year. Does that make sense? So I took all of my gains plus last year's harvest, and that is this new number is going to be 220% of last year's. So sometimes when you're trying to figure out which one is your of and which one is your is, you just have to start talking about it out loud and see where, if you were to say it in a sentence, where would your of and your is be and what are you really talking about. So I have 220% of last year's harvest is 140,800. And then all I'm going to do is multiply both sides by 100 and divide both sides by 220, and I get last year's harvest is 64,000 bushels.